The Apple Watch, as popular as it is, it's a pretty ingenious piece of technology. It's got a feature, it's really cool. It can track your calories and distance and other things when you're doing your workout, when you're exercising. But in order to get an accurate reading for you specifically, you first have to calibrate it. Now, automobiles, they require calibration as well, and it essentially consists of determining the attributes of a car, for fulfilling, some red tape, some legislative standards, but also for refining the car's character to meet all the driver's expectations for the best drivability and comfort, especially when they're selling these brand new. Now, if you bring a car to a shop, if it's not running correctly, the mechanic can do calibration services as well. The specialist checks the engine, the wheel alignment, they hook it up to a computer. And they do this to make sure that it's safe to drive on the road and meets all of their standards in every specification. So in other words, in order for your car to drive on the road, it must be running at an optimal level, and this ensures the car is at its best, especially, as I said, when it's let out on the line for brand new cars. So calibration is really a fancy term for basically telling the vehicle's internal computer to readjust things like the cameras and the sensors and the other technology to work properly from the new car's specifications. And this means that our automobiles, they can get out of whack and start to get a bit of fuzzy with their operation and mechanically. That's why we take them to the shop every now and then after a good term of use with them. Now, we can also see calibration with our cell phones while the operating system and applications on the phones are constantly being corrected or updated, and this is to fix any errors or to improve upon the way the cell phone or the cell phone applications work. And our desktop PCs, our tablets and laptops, they're also too being updated with their firmware and their operating systems, For you PC people, Windows XP went to Windows 7, which went to Windows 8, and now it's Windows 10, And why all these changes? It's because the improvement of the operating system is essential. It makes our lives easier to get done things faster and more efficiently, because that is where we're going, speed and efficiency. Now, as human beings, we too have the ability to calibrate or recalibrate our lives, because our experiences over time, they throw our calibration out of whack, just like the car, just like the operating systems. So the big question looms on this topic: just what are you doing personally to update or recalibrate your life? What errors are you fixing so that your life is running at the most optimal level? For the majority of the world, and I believe it's the majority of the world, they never seek to recalibrate their lives. Instead, they seek out physical things like money or materialistic items, which they believe will get their life back on track. And over a course of our lives, we have a massive amount of experiences, and many of these experiences can alter our consciousness, oftentimes for the worst. And these destructive experiences, they write the coding in our brain using our six senses. And when we leave these destructive experiences, which is our memory, within the sectors of our brain, we then have faulty coding that will start to bring our life down to a lower level of consciousness, an undesirable way of living. So if you for example, if you typically get angry at things, then a recalibration is necessary. If you cheat on your love partners, then a recalibration is necessary. How can anger issues or cheating issues have anything in common with helping our world grow into a more positive state? Even yourself on a personal level. Now, the good news is that personal development is starting to gain its momentum in our society, because just like tuning up the engine to run better through recalibration, discovering ourselves with the objective to experience life in a more desired way is our own way of recalibration. Mechanics use computers to recalibrate automobiles to run at an optimal level, and we can use our brain's insight to calibrate our physical and mental world, our experiences. But the only way to gain this insight as to how we can recalibrate our lives is to first understand who we are and why we're here, and what we're currently doing upon the world and all those that are surrounded in our circle. Recalibration for us is removing destructive beliefs that we hold. It's rewriting the coding in our brain so that our experiences of life are of the most desired states. We can achieve calibration through multiple outlets like meditation and affirmations, either write them out or verbally express them. And through the grandmaster of them all, mental visualization. And this is really where we create a vision in our mind of how we wish to live out our lives. And we can play that movie over and over in our mind's eye as much as possible. Now, the reason why people are not living out the life that they want is because they would rather have the things created than the power to create. That's Neville Goddard's statement. People would have rather have the things created than to the power to create. And if we look at what's going on in today's world through television and movies, people are really capturing these things, and what they do is they forecast these visions into the universe once they watch these shows and whatnot. And that's collective consciousness. They all come together and it creates one energy. And this is why our world has reached its pinnacle of destructive expressions. All we got to do is look at and see what kind of movies are on the television and the TV shows and the reality shows and the video games and the music, and then the alleged stars that represent these things. And the example I want to give is, look at what our kids are forecasting in the world with video games. Talk about recalibrating for destruction. In 2016 alone, the top-selling video games were all killing games. Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, and Battlefield 1. All killing games. And then, of course, you have the record-setting Grand Theft Auto 5, which is built on prostitution, drugs, and stealing cars. This is what's popular in our world. Seriously. What kind of garbage are we feeding the next generation of our society? We allow this to go on. And then people, they bicker and complain, yet they're out there doing constructive things right along with their kids. Really? Luna said that people hate on all the good people, and then they complain and they bitch about how bad the world is. The change really starts with you and me individually, on an individual level first, not complaining about how so-and-so is not doing this or that. That's not recalibration. That's avoiding responsibility so that, you don't have to go out there and make the changes in yourself. And that, of course, will bring out the best in everybody. So if we wish to participate in the calibration or recalibration of our brain, our own supercomputer, it's going to take the removal of things that have destructive properties attached to them. We also have the opportunity to release our past beliefs, the ones that are destructive, in nature. And we can do that, again, through meditation, affirmations, and mental visualization. It takes practice. But this is what our recalibration of our brain is all about. We upgrade our own operating system through the deliberate efforts of a love consciousness, But nobody rides for free, man. This stuff takes effort. This recalibration is not for free. You got to do the work. It's upgrading the brain. We upgrade our smartphones and our computers. We have to upgrade and recalibrate our brain. It takes a conscious approach, and we do that through willpower, we do that through faith, and we do it through repetition, constructive repetition. So I'm going to leave you with an amazing quote by Israel Moore Ivor, when he said, "If you don't choose to plant, don't dream to harvest. Ownership precedes production, and production comes as a result of deliberate choice." I'm Logan with Brain, Body, Soul. Thanks for watching.
Brain, Body, Soul. Live life from the inside.